Employees of BOSPO during the first work procedure demonstrate rescue of a person who while doing a job fell into a rope and remained hanging in it. The rescuer, using evacuation equipment, climbed down to the rescued person. It is important to have a technical possibility to lift the rescued person so to be able to untie the rope from the locking device. In order to do this, it is a must to be able to safely handle the evacuation means. The rescued person was bound to the harness of the rescuer. The rescuers perform lifting of the rescued person so that the blocking element can be untied. Of course, the procedure assumed not only the technical and practical capability, however, also certain habits. When operating the evacuation equipment, the rescued person got lifted with the blocking elements being removed. It is important to pay attention to the material so that any potential fall is prevented. After binding the rescued, the evacuation equipment switched on into the bales mode, and the rescuer with the rescued climbed down to the ground with assumed presence of medical personnel performing future steps. Within the second work procedure, the rescuer, also using the evacuation equipment, climbed down to the rescued as presented. Always two-point anchoring is necessary, since the rope shall bear two persons. For securing, there is used ASEP device, which is not needed to be mechanically moved by the rescuer. In this case, we are not doing demonstrate lifting of the rescued, since we do not use evacuation equipment allowing us this action. A simple procedure to be used assuming the rescuer does have with himself a knife good enough to cut off the rescue rope. Of course, prior to doing so it is necessary to bind the rescued to the rescuer's harness, so secure locks of the carbines, verify the wall securing system so that the rescuing job is done safely, and only then it is possible to cut off the carrying rope of the rescued person. It is a procedure bearing increased hazard, since cutting off the rope leads to the fall and the young being transferred through the harness to the bearing rope of the rescuer. After cutting off the rescued person and unlocking of the bale equipment, there is follows climbing to the ground, assuming the first ice steps will come as next. During the procedure number 3, we can see a person who fell into the securing rope. The rescue steps are being done using two persons. The evacuation equipment is anchored in up part. One rescuer helps to climb down the second rescuer to the rescued using the evacuation equipment. The second rescuer shall bind the rescued to his harness. Of course, necessary coordination and cooperation between two rescuers is a matter of must. When binding the rescued to the harness of the rescuer, who has climbed down to the rescued using evacuation equipment, we can present lifting so that this is possible from the blocking device or from the rescuing system to untie the rescued person. Evacuation equipment using a control stick able to lift up the load with 150 kilos, what is matching the weight of the rescuer and rescued person. After lifting and releasing the person who got stuck into rescue rope, the mode of elements on the rescue equipment shall change with following possibility for both persons to climb down to the ground. Consequent first 8 steps count place. The evacuation equipment is composed of parts enabling through the friction force to switch between particular controls elements of given equipment. It is necessary for the operator of this equipment to have sufficient knowledge and habits to operate given equipment. Otherwise, the equipment might be dangerous for the person operating it. You can see again the system of 2 ropes. We do have work and securing rope. After climbing down the rescued person to the ground, there follow steps based on evacuation of the conditions.